Welcome to this latest edition of Doorway to the Paintings. I think this is a really interesting painting. Kind of like storybook time once again. It's got that kind of art to it, similar to Jack and the Beanstalk and other art that people my age might have grown up with. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have this, and I still got it somewhere in the pile over there. It is a little Jack and the Beanstalk book. It's pretty thin, but it's a picture book, and it was really well made. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's different, but it's similar. It's kind of in the same genre. Kind of awakes the imagination and stimulates the imagination with that kind of storybook category. And it should be a good painting to look at tonight. And it's late. It's not as cold as it was last time with the frost giant, but it's definitely late. And it's that time again for another exploration through the doorway to the paintings. Here we go. Yeah, I promise it's not Jack. It's not Jack and the Beanstalk, but with the leaves and the vines and the way the trees look and everything and the grass, it could be in that category. It's a fun, stimulating type of a category. I really like the way the grass is and the trees, and then the contrast between that really bright green. Then you have the nice brown tree trunks. You have the leaves. You have the moon, and with the musical notes going up through the flute and then coming up to the moon and then up over here, it looks like a face. I made a face of the moon on purpose with the musical notes coming out of his instrument here. Yeah, this character, it's just inspired by many of the elves and type fairies and dwarfs and elf type creatures that I saw in books and on TV and in movies, and it's just inspired by a variety, kind of hodgepodge of different characters, even video games. Looks like there's a little Zelda in there too. Link, a little Link in there. Once again, this painting has a lot of style to it and character, impressionism. Note the extra curve to the boots. Well, boots are shoes. A little curve, a lot of curve on there. And then the vines and the branches from the trees have that extra twirl to them, wisp to them. A lot of detail in the tree. I didn't want it to look too real. I wanted it to have a lot of style, a lot of character. I didn't want this painting to look too real. I mean, it's got realistic aspects. It does. Some of the leaves and the foliage, the trees, and some of the stars, perhaps, and then the wavelengths, the light beams coming from the stars. There's realistic aspects. But it has a lot of style and character and impressionism, and that's what I wanted with this painting. Get more of a fuller view here. I'll zoom into this tree back here. It took me, I think, 2.5 or 3 hours, maybe 3 hours to paint this, just because there was so much. I worked on one part of it, and then when that was drying, I worked on the other. And yeah, but this here has some pretty good detail to it, even in the back. See how there's bushes way back there? Yeah, there's trees back there and tree trunks. It's a forest. Then you got the stars. stars that are big and stars that are not as big. All the stars are pretty visible though. I like this. I like putting curve to the vines and extra just to kind of give them style and character. Then you got the leaves attached to it, and then some of the leaves are falling. The picture, the painting I painted behind it, it's a similar genre. Not this one. that's Gromas, but I mean this one. That's a good one. Similar genre. I'll save that for another night. Right now, it's your turn, buddy. You're up. You're the center of our attention tonight. You're playing your musical instrument. Yeah, I like how his instrument has some detail to it. And you got the little, kind of the little buttons, or the little buttons he would push there to make music and make the music sound different. There's quite a bit of detail in the flute and his fingers, and how his hands grasp the instrument makes it more detailed and fun. And he's got the impression he's really into the music. He's got his hat, little pointed ears like an elf or dwarf, but almost look like he can come from the same village that Link in Zelda could have came from. I had some of the Christmas elves and some of the dwarves and other creatures on my mind when I painted this, those that came from movies, and even a couple Christmas elves that my aunt used to have climbing up her kind of like a fireplace, and up near the, you know how they have the hollies on Christmas and then the fake kind of foliage. He was climbing up that, and it kind of looked like this, but that elf was all green, and this elf here has a white shirt with a red vest and red cap, stocking cap, black pants. So the colors are different, but that kind of inspired this. And then of course Zelda, that inspired it to Link. But yeah, this kind of gets that fairy tale type storybook imagination geared up and ready to go. Kind of stimulates it. You never know. Maybe the big bad wolf would come out of these trees and he'd have to make a roadrunner cloud real quick. He'd have to get out, unless he has something silver that's sharp that maybe he could fight him with, but that's not the kind of painting this is. But I could have put a werewolf in the background, given him a lot of character, like he's watching this character here. That would have been a fine touch. I've put a lot of monsters in my paintings, so even paintings like this, it would probably be a pretty interesting painting. Just wanted to zoom in on a few of these stars. I think they add a real nice touch to this painting. Real nice touch. Just makes the painting overall better, more fascinating. Almost like you can just keep walking back there into the trees, and who knows where the paths will take you. Into a bigger forest perhaps, or maybe into a valley, or maybe close to the mountains where the frost giants dwell. Yeah, it's a nice painting, really nice to have late at night. Probably all my paintings are nice to look at late at night. But this is good, like right before one goes to sleep, they can read a fairy tale, or maybe dream about a place like this. Be a pleasant dream indeed to dream about this at night, probably have a good rest, a good sleep. There's some of the detail of the grasses, or the grass in the leaves. But I didn't want to make it look too real. I wanted it to look like a storybook, give it a lot of style and character. That way I can pretty much do what I wanted with the painting rather than being stuck in the box of real life where you couldn't really let your imagination run wild and really give everything that extra piece of style and character. Where is the beanstalk? Maybe the more he sings, the taller this tree will get, and then he'll start climbing up. I actually have a few paintings like this with a character playing a flute or some type of instrument. I'll probably do some videos about those in the future if I get around to it. They're similar to this. I like this genre, but it does take some time to paint it. This one took me close to 3 hours, just because there's so many different things and details, the colors, and I wanted to give everything time to dry so the paint wouldn't smear. I gave the tree extra outline and dark outline so it would stand out more. It's almost like it comes off the canvas and then it gets lighter as it comes towards you, like this part is lighter than this part, and then it gets a little darker until you get to these thick dark lines here. And I did that to distinguish it from the rest of the painting. You couldn't do that if it was just completely realistic unless you were suggesting shadow. If you were suggesting shadow, then that would work pretty well. Yeah, there's a lot of curves. And what about this tree back here? Some pretty good detail on that tree. The night sky, you could just fly up into the dream. And this is almost like a dream. You could just jump up, fly into the night sky, and maybe keep going. Yeah, it's a good one. I really like this painting. I hope you guys liked it too and looking at it with me tonight. The plan is to be back soon with another video, another edition of Doorway to the Paintings. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hit the like button. And I plan on being back soon with another video. So take care and good night, everybody.